she said that, so Crazy Granny had a bunch of, thank you. I love you. I love you too, Nene. And so she says that Crazy Granny had a big house and had a lot of family members living with her. Obviously, she had grandkids there all the time, her children, other people. You know, she took care of a lot of people. Which, when you think about it, it's like, it would take a degree of crazy to do that. But then again, it's like, how crazy could someone be? Do you know how selfless you have to be to afford people the opportunity to live with that type of comfort and reliability? With the broken heart, being abandoned or let down by your mate, your significant other, the hard-headed opinions and ill-informed fucking opinions of children and grandchildren and friends of the family, and then her own siblings. IJS. IJS. So anyway, I keep telling this woman, your granny probably wasn't crazy. I think your granny was a very real writer, and she represents a type of woman. There's a subclass for what they are, what we are, and I recognize that. But anyway, so back to the story. So this girl is like 4 years old, and she's in the only bathroom in the house, and she's going number 2, right? Not to just get nasty, but she's going number 2. And she said, Crazy Granny, one of her only memories that she has, she remembers since she was just 4 years old. She was 4. She said, Crazy Granny comes into the bathroom and it was like, shit, I see this kid on the toilet. And she was like, well, Crazy Granny gonna have to cop a squat. So Granny leans into the toilet, not into the toilet because the little girl's on the toilet going to, but she leans over the tub and she commences to, go and potty in the tub. And while she's pottying, she looks at the little girl and she was like, your daddy's a bitch. And some other stuff that she said, right? And the little girl was like, now that she's an adult, she was like, I knew that Granny was crazy because, at 4 years old, I didn't even know what a bee was. I didn't know that a man could be a bee in the first place. I didn't know what a bee was. And so I was like, yeah. I was like, well, just me listening to it, when you really think about it, families, women and children in the absence of men, the absence of a provider and a protector. And to all of my pro-feminist women that, well, we don't need a man. Hey, before we evolved to that, before that happened, it was one of the most desired positions was to be the wife of a responsible, good-hearted, providing, protecting man. Anyway, and so then I was like, she's like, yeah, whether it was true or not, she's talking to a 4-year-old child. And I was like, I agree, you shouldn't say that to a child or in the presence of a child. But considering that the child is in the only bathroom that you have in the house going number 2, the fact is that she wouldn't even be there. She wouldn't have been there hogging the toilet at that moment if her father was where he was supposed to be, with the mother, taking care of her in their own house. Respectfully. I know that shit happens and people split. Things happen. I totally get that. But there are people that kind of step in and stand in the gap to make way for those families that fall out of marriages. They fall out of their family unit. It happens.